Hello, Darren. Welcome
Hi.
to Brazil. It's
Thank
a
you for
pleasure
having me.
to have you here. Now, Darren, from Pi to Requiem for a Dream and Tree of Life, Black Swan, and now especially Mother,
Yeah.
every film you've made has left me with a very exciting degree of puzzlement.
That's good.
Yes.
I mean, the whole idea for me about cinema is to make people think and to entertain people. You know, the first rule is never bore an audience, so you want to have something that's very intense, and I think Mother does that. But you know, another great thing about cinema is when you leave and you talk about it and everyone keeps talking about it, and I think this one will create a lot of conversation.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
And I wonder, do you have the same feeling when you finish writing a script? Do you go, what? Now I've
Yeah.
really. Do you surprise yourself?
I think sometimes, sometimes as more now when you finish a script, but as you're writing a script, especially a film like Mother, there was such fire and excitement. It was almost like take a piece of paper and lit it in the middle, and the fire sort of stretched out, and I just kept consuming ideas, and these ideas kept pouring out of me. And it was a very quick process. It was almost like a dream I entered. And I wrote this in 5 days, and it just became something I had never had before. I had a lot of energy and a lot of passion.
You've mentioned in other interviews that it was an environmental concern that sparked
Yeah.
the idea for Mother. But what really comes with full force at me when I see the movie is the religious parable and the religious overtones. When you see it now, where do you think the weight lies the most?
Ooh, you know what? I think actually it's neither of those two. I mean, as
Really?
far as what people have seen, a lot of people really think it has a lot to do with celebrity culture and about the worship of celebrities, and I think that's because I cast Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem and Michelle Pfeiffer in it, and they're all dealing with that. A lot of people think it's about the narcissism of a creator, which is very much the human story of the
Yes.
film, which is the story of a writer who's filled with writer's block, and his younger wife who is constantly giving to him and trying to support him and help him, and how that's off balance and starts to be the end of the relationship. But there was this other larger allegory trying to make something about from Mother Earth's point of view. But how I structured it was by being inspired by the stories of the Bible.
Yes. And there is, one could argue that the film says, well, God is capricious and he's self-centered and he's happy to trash his little ant farm when it doesn't turn out the way he thought it would.
Right.
Which is not a completely novel idea. Other people have felt that way. But what I think is where you go way beyond that in Noah and in Mother is that, well, he's that way because we let him.
Well, I don't know. For me, it's about reading the Bible and sort of, I'm a storyteller, so I look at the Bible and I try to understand what the stories are saying.
Yes.
And how they can relate to the story I'm trying to tell and how I can connect them. And for me, it was always the Old Testament God. Well, there was always something strange in the text because he had paradise and he decided to create these creatures that he knew were going to be naughty and
Yes.
eat the forbidden fruit. Of course he knew that because he's all-knowing. So why did he do that? And that was always like perplexed me as like a good question, like what is that character? And I realized, you know, he really enjoyed observing them and he also enjoyed the worship back. And so that sort of led me down a path of a character that, has this intrigue, like a symbiosis. I don't know if that translates, but like a connection with what he's created, and the created has a connection with him, and he can't really live without it, and they can't really live without him. You know, it's like if they were human. So it's kind of complicated, but it's sort of taking the stories from the Bible and trying to, breathe life in them for the 21st century.
Good. Darren, more than most filmmakers, you're happy to put yourself in the hands of your lead actors. You've done it time and again.
Thank you.
And it's a leap of faith
Yeah.
to a degree, because
of course.
it's not just about a good performance or being right for the part, but being able to flesh out ideas that can be very intangible
Right.
in the way you structure films. Let's talk about Jennifer. Is that a rational, do you have a rational code that you go to and say, this is how I choose a lead actor, or is it an instinctual decision?
It's a combination. I'm not the type of writer in general who's thinking about a certain actor when I create these scripts. But I'm always looking for actors that are hungry to do the work, that want to put their emotions out there, that want to feel. A lot of actors, after they've been doing it for a while, things get easy and they don't necessarily want to, work that hard. So I'm always looking for the ones that either want to express themselves that way, which is Jennifer is so young and has done so little, even though she's done so much, that seeing this role, which was very different than anything she's ever done, I think really excited her. So I knew I was going to get tremendous passion from that. Javier is an actor who always takes acting very seriously and never dials in a performance, always works really hard. There's been other actors I've worked in the past that, don't want to do the work as much, and I stay away from those actors as much as I can.
Well, they were all willing. This Michelle Pfeiffer and Harris are fantastic.
So much fun.
Formidable performances.
Yes,
and
thank
a
you.
formidable film.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Darren.
That was a great interview. You're very
Thank
smart.
you very much.
Thank you.